Hello, everyone, and welcome to half of Half a Clue movie review. I am your host, Blake, and I'm here with
Ron. Hi, it's me.
And that's it today.
Yeah. No one else.
Jason is under the weather, and Miles took one look at the suggestion and was like, "No."
He declined. I don't know if I should say this on the episode, but he said it's apparently this story hits too close to home for him.
Something like this had happened to him in his youth,
and he won't want to talk about it too much. But I think he turned into a dog. I'm not entirely sure, but
it's certainly a possibility.
Or he's part dog. I don't know. We'll see.
Man of dog. You ever seen that video? Man of dog, or it's
Man of dog? No.
Am I thinking of the right thing?
I don't know.
It's like it's like a creepy animation video, kind of reminiscent of like Salad Fingers. This guy gets a pet dog, and the dog can talk by putting like a plug into his brain, and the guy, for whatever reason, gives himself cancer or something.
What?
And then like the dog offers like his body, and the guy like chops his head off and puts it on the dog. It's very unsettling.
Holy shit! What is this?
It's called like Dog of Man or something like that.
I thought you were referencing was it Man Bites Dog? Have you seen that one?
No, I'm referencing a 5-minute internet video about.
Do you know about Man Bites Dog?
I don't know what that is.
It's like it's a French film where it's like this camera crew is following around a serial killer, but like it's almost like a mockumentary, but they play it straight, as in like this camera crew's just like, yeah, we're just gonna follow this guy around, and he's going around, and you just see how he's like just casually kills people and shit, and then it slowly like descends into this like crazy thing. It's I don't know. It's a wild one. It's like I think it's like the 80s, 70s.
I think I've heard, now that you mention it, I think I've read about it, but I've never watched it. Is it good?
It's it's very interesting. It's dark. It's like it kind of rides the line of like dark comedy at a certain point to just like straight up dark. But yeah, it's a good one.
You've got my interest.
Yeah. It's interesting. So it's
what movie?
Today.
What movie are we talking about, Ron?
Oh, we're talking about the Shaggy D.A.
Why, Ron?
Well, because because we just been talking about a lot of heavy, like real quality cinema, real big movies, and I'm just gonna go way the other way with it, and I'm just gonna pick a movie that I'd never seen before, and you've never seen, right?
No. No one has ever seen this movie.
No, I just saw a clip that was going around for like a while. It was just the dog punching a dude in the face, and I just thought that looked so stupid and funny that I was like, I just kind of want to see it, just go into it blind, just see how it turns out, and yeah, this movie's ridiculous.
Well, you get points for creativity, I'll tell you that.
Thanks.
This is definitely the most outlandish pick for movie of the week, I think.
Yeah, so far.
So give us the history.
Okay.
Tell me all about the Shaggy D.A.
All right, so today we're talking about the Shaggy D.A. 1976, starring Dean Jones. The quirky family comedy marks an interesting chapter in Disney's history, one that's often overlooked. As we take a closer look at this film, it's important to remember that the 70s were a really challenging decade for the Disney company, who had released like only about 4 animated films out of like 40 plus like productions in the 70s, which is pretty wild to think about now. But like with the passing of Walt Disney in the mid 60s, the studio faced a period of transition, both creatively and financially. Directed by Robert Stevenson, the Shaggy D.A. was part of the Disney's ongoing trend of family-friendly live-action comedies. That was like a big thing in this wave, was they were like it's not like animation had completely gone away, but they were doing things like Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Pete's Dragon, where they were trying to like incorporate more animated stuff into live action, which seemed to be like the big pool. They were like, yeah, we're that, basically kind of steering away, like, which is wild because people thought that Disney was going to stop making animated movies at a certain point.
Forever.
Yeah, which is like unthinkable now. Maybe. But anyway, you're saying it.
I was going to say, before you get into the production of this movie, can I ask you a question about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was this by any chance intended to be a sitcom before it was a full-fledged movie?
I don't think so. Is a sequel to the Shaggy Dog, which came out in the 50s. I think 57. Might be wrong. So like 20 years later.
Made with what's his name?
Tim Allen.
The guy Miles loves for some reason.
Tim Allen. Tim Allen movie. Yes, and I remember like just even the
saw
poster for that is so off-putting.
Oh, it's like him like being transformed into a dog.
It's just like it's like the dog, but it's got like his eyes, and it's just like so creepy. It's so odd. So you actually saw that one?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I don't really remember anything about it.
I was gonna say I was hoping your knowledge would really fill in the blanks for us here.
I watched it, and I didn't even like really watch it. I watched it like on a portable DVD player, like on a long drive or something. So it wasn't like a primo theater experience.
Okay. So anyway, the movie was aimed to continue this success of the original Shaggy Dog while introducing a new generation to its whimsical premise. However, the Shaggy D.A. was fairly successful at the box office with families. It's often remembered as more of a fun diversion than a standout in like Disney's catalog. So we're going to settle in, discuss this film and, you know, kind of how it fits into like Disney. We don't have to get too into it, but just like it's I feel like the 70s is such a weird time, the late 60s too, where it was like after Walt died, they were just kind of like hands on hips. Like, what are we? Like the what's it called? The theme parks had really taken over. That was like the big focus, and they were like they were no longer just an animation studio. They were just like this. They were becoming that conglomerate, and they were just like, I don't even know what do we do now. I don't know. It's so it's wild.
Shaggy D.A.
Yeah, the Shaggy D.A. Along with, oh my god, dude, when I was going through their movies from the 70s, there was one. I think it was called like, oh shit, I can't believe I didn't even write it down. But there's one movie about a donkey who's like a kicker for a football team. Huh. And there's just like really wild movies. There's one where there's like a group of boys that are like treasure hunting in the South, in the post Civil War South. Huh. And there's like scenes of like the KKK and like a cross burning and shit. Like it was just like, I don't know. I don't really know what they were thinking at this time. They were just throwing everything at the wall.
Well, it's certainly interesting. Yeah. Like even this movie, like it almost has like a noir feel to it at times. We're like hanging out with like seedy characters and like warehouses. Where, I got the jab, like with a big cigar like in his mouth.
It's like, I don't like this guy. He's going to cause me business. Like he's gonna really upset
like,
things.
Am I watching like a pulpy crime thriller? Like what's going on here?
And then they cut to a dog that's like climbing up a ladder. Okay, so let's break down the plot super quick.
You're not going to ask me what I thought about it?
Well, I'll get into it. Okay. So for those who are not familiar, which I imagine is most of you, this film picks up with Will B. Daniels, who's now all grown up. He's a character from the first movie, but it's a different actor. You don't really need to know.
I guess he was an inventor in the first movie or something, right?
No, in the first movie, he was just a kid.
But like he was, I don't know. This is all from Letterboxd review knowledge.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they dropped the trait that he was like into like tinkering and like
oh,
inventing
yes.
or
Oh,
something.
I forgot. Yes. So I actually did watch the original Shaggy Dog just to like have some context for this. He was like he was basically like a little kid inventor, kind of. Like he made like a little rocket in his like bedroom. I don't know. That one's, I kind of want to talk about that one a little bit just because it's like the dad is like a psycho where he just hates dogs, like just straight up hates dogs with a passion. Where there's a scene where it's actually one of the funniest moments in the movie where like they're sitting in the dining room and like the door like swings open and you get a glimpse of the dog who is his son. He doesn't know that, but he's in the kitchen and then he's like, "Is there a dog in the house?" And then the wife's like, "Well, I don't know." And then he like, hold on. He goes out and he grabs a shotgun and he just starts blasting at this fucking dog. It's like, what a psycho.
Mean, that happens in this movie too.
I know. Okay, so Wilby Wilby's trying to become the district attorney. He's a successful lawyer. His house gets robbed twice.
And he's very upset about it.
Yeah, he's so upset. And then he decides to run for district attorney. And then somehow, at the same time, these other guys discover a ring.
Confidence men.
And they basically accidentally invoke this ancient curse that turns him into a dog again. And chaos ensues. That's like essentially it. That's all you really need to know.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so initial impressions, Blake. What were your first thoughts of this movie?
Well, I thought it was better than Master and Commander.
Oh God,
right. much more cohesive, better writing, less boring.
It's empirically false.
To answer your question, I thought it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
there were fun moments in it, and we can get to those. It's like I said, it felt. Me and Jason both agreed it felt like a sitcom in certain places. Like, because I don't know, it just had that sitcom lighting and that sitcom shot composition, and like I was like, I don't know, is this like 3 episodes of like what never became a full blown show put together?
Really, I think they probably would have had more success with that. But it's funny enough that I think the effects would have probably been too much for them. Even though they weren't, like, I felt like they should have leaned into it a little bit more. I guess my first impressions was like, it was very silly. I wish it was even more silly at times, you know? Like, I kind of wish
pretty silly.
Yes, but like I almost wish they had hammed it up even more, so just to kind of get it more enjoyable. I don't know. But it was fun. The effects were cool. They were funny.
They were funny for sure.
Yeah.
They weren't like necessarily awful. I mean, they're not good.
No.
But they're something.
Yes, they. I was watching a behind the scenes thing where they're like the makeup artist was really breaking down the technique. He made like 6 different dog tongues for like when the dog is like, because when dogs get like overheated, their tongues expand more as they they pant, and he like took that time to do that, and I'm like, that's wild, because I would never have picked that up at all.
You like the transformation sequences where it just like fades into him becoming a dog slowly.
He's like dun, dun. It's like, oh no.
This could be like the plot of like an episode of Supernatural. Like Sam and Dean would like
yes,
Sam and Dean would like show up and like fucking put him down.
Just,
like I could see Sam and Dean going to a small town and finding a cursed ring that transforms people into like an animal. Like it's an episode of Supernatural.
They really should have done something like that.
It's the DA. Like I don't know. It's very much a Supernatural episode premise.
So the story itself is,
I got to interject here. I believe that actually was a Supernatural premise. I think that Dean did get turned into a dog at some point.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He gets chased by the Death Hounds.
No, he got turned into a dog at some point.
He gets turned into an old man at some point. I'm pretty
sure. I would have to look it up. Sorry, guys. Miles here. I'm helping record even though I'm not on the episode.
He just descended from the rafters to drop his little tidbit here.
Yeah.
Screenshot of the episode title.
Okay. So this is actually, the story is based off of The Hound of Florence.
It's based off
novel.
a true story.
Yeah, it's based off a true story. No, it's like, in that one, it's a lot more serious. A guy gets turned into a dog and then he has to like do a good deed. In the first one, they mention it where like basically the guy ends up getting stabbed in the end, and he gets to turn back human or something. So it's like an act of goodness turns him back.
The thing this is based on, or the first Shaggy Dog movie?
In the first Shaggy Dog, they mention it. They're like, oh yeah, well, like the story goes that like, this guy got like stabbed and killed, sacrificing himself for this lady, and then he was like, what the fuck, like how am I supposed to do, like what am I supposed to do with that information? He's like, I don't know, do something good and maybe he'll turn back into a human. It's weird, but I think that's interesting too. The first one feels like they kind of try to go more for like an allegory for like puberty, which is kind of a common thing in werewolf movies. It's like, like Ginger Snaps and other films like The Company of Wolves, where they talk about like it's a bit of puberty. This one, there's none of that. I don't think there's any real allegory here at all.
Maybe in the first Shaggy Dog film there was a little more logic, but I have probably more than a couple complaints, but if I had one complaint about this movie, it would be, I don't really understand the logic of when he transforms back.
Yes,
because it kind of just seems like it happens to inconvenience the ice cream man.
Yeah.
Like whenever there's a whole subplot in this movie about the ice cream man what's the dog's name?
Oh crap.
It's a weird name.
It's like Wilby, not Wilby, that's the main guy's name. It's hold on.
While Ron is checking this, I just wanted to give an update. There's not an episode where Dean turns into a dog. There's an episode where he gets cursed and starts acting like a dog in season 9.
Fair enough.
So
there's an episode where he turns into an old man.
Yeah.
He gets chased by dogs.
Whatever. I can't find it, but it's like Woodry or something like that.
It's a bizarre name. Anyways, it just seems like the rules exist that just he only transforms back into a human when it's inconvenient for
just to screw
the ice
over
cream guy.
Yeah, Tim. played by Tim Conway, who I think he's one of the highlights of this movie for me. I think he really sells a lot of the silliness.
He is, but like at the same time, I remember I was like, is this just going to be happening the rest of the movie? And so he keeps trying to take the dog into a bar, and then he's like sing and dance and do all these things, but like every time he gets there, like the dog is just transformed back into its normal dog self.
It just makes him look like an asshole. It's like I felt like the premise for like an old school like joke, you know? Man walks into a bar, says like, "Here's my talking dog." Like I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think we could talk about the performances. So
what is so explain to me the logic of how it works in this movie.
There is none. I don't think there is. That's the problem.
Like he just sometimes transforms back into being human.
Yeah, like they kind of like even in the first one, they're basically just like it goes away. Like it just like sometimes it'll go away, sometimes it'll flare up, and it's like I swear to God,
what's the lore, Sam?
I feel like I feel like in the first movie it makes more sense again because it's like kind of a puberty thing. I don't know how intentional it was.
But that's how it comes off.
But it kind of comes off that way. And I think part of it is like, you know, in puberty, sometimes shit flares up, you know, like, I don't know. And then it goes away. And it's like an allegory, maybe. I don't know. But in this one, it's a little bit just happens.
Sometimes he turns back.
Yeah. So like Dean Jones, who was like a big Disney staple at this point. He had been working with them through the 60s, doing a lot of live action stuff. Tim Conway.
Man.
Yeah, no, that's Wilby. That's the main guy. Tim Conway
is the ice cream man.
Yes, the ice cream man. Keenan Wynn as John Slade, the DA.
He's the best part of the movie, I thought.
He's very good. I think he's
very funny.
He hits that perfect note of like being serious and trying to be menacing, but also just goofy as hell. The part where he like transforms him in his office, and he's like, "Woof woof."
He's like, dude, that I want to like splice that clip of just him laughing evilly, where he's like, "Woof."
He's like, "Woof, woof."
I was like, oh my God.
And Dick Van Patten, who plays his like assistant Raymond, who's also great in it. He's like,
the guy who shoots the guy with all the nautical stuff at his house.
No. He's the guy who's just like, you know.
I
just called the pound. You know, they're downstairs. You know, he's like, and he gets punched in the face by the dog, which is the best sequence in the movie. I think that's that whole getaway sequence where he's running away and he's driving, and they just cut to like a dude in a dog suit just driving an ice cream truck. It's just so bonkers.
We'll get to what I thought the best sequence is in a minute here.
Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of fun areas here. I don't know. They're like moments where I think stood out for me. I think maybe we can get into that if you want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like there's like the pie scene where it's just again so ridiculous where it feels like a throwback to like slapstick like classic shit where even the moment when they throw the pie at the main villain guy's name like Slade and the pie goes over except for his like cigar that's poking like perfectly through the pie crust. It's just like I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. It's funny. It feels like a classic like Mad Men skit where they're just all running around tearing everything apart just trying to find this ring. Which one were you gonna say?
Actually, before I get into that, firstly I was gonna say Iron Fist ripped off a scene from this movie.
Really?
Kind of. The introductory scene for Tim, the ice cream man. Our the main boy, the child of our main character. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Man, we really got the names down this time. I feel like we're normally good at this part. We normally know.
Bryan.
So Bryan, the main kid, goes to Tim, the ice cream man, and gets ice cream, and he asks him to recite all the flavors. And he, you know, there's like some crazy flavors. He says like avocado something, and you know, whatever, very exotic, crazy flavors. And then Bryan goes, actually, I'll just get vanilla. And he's like, vanilla ice cream? You're going to get vanilla ice cream? Do you not remember this?
Yes.
This is like the only good scene from Iron Fist is when the main villain of Iron Fist, he asks his assistant, what would you do if you could live forever? And his assistant's like, oh boy, Mr. Meekum, I'd eat a lot of ice cream. And he's like, ice cream, that's amazing. And he's like, thank you. He's like, that's not a good thing. But later on in the episode, he lightens up, and then he's like, he brings like this tray of like ice cream, and it's like that scene. It's all this exotic shit. It's like avocado salmon flavored ice cream and a bunch of crazy shit like that. And then his assistant's like, oh no, thanks, Mr. Meekum. I'll just have vanilla. And then the Mr. Meekum is like, vanilla ice cream. And he's like beating him to death with like the ice cream scooper. Vanilla ice cream. It's like the only
Why?
good scene in Iron Fist. I can't
Why
believe
do
you don't remember
I
it.
do not remember that at all.
It's like the only good scene in that whole show.
Wow.
Oh, so you want to talk about the best scene in this movie? And I don't know if it's the best scene, but I think it nearly caused me, Jason, and our friend Kyle to have a mental breakdown when he's at the dog pound.
Yeah.
And it's like the
Oh
effect that they use to show the dogs acting is they just film and then reverse the dogs like kind of moving their heads, and it's just like this 5-minute sequence of like 15 or like 5 dogs talking to each other, and one of them's like singing like he's a prisoner.
Oh my god.
Like, oh my god, like we all collectively had like a mental breakdown. Like you know my broken laugh, right?
Yeah.
I definitely had a broken laugh at that. It was just so
That was
unbelievable to me.
That was such a ridiculous sequence because it's like they're just reverse forward,
reverse forward.
as they're just getting their mouths to just open and close.
It's so bad looking.
It's like because even in the first one they had like moments where the dog was talking, but it was always like just so happened it's the bottom half of its mouth is covered or something. So like they're literally like someone is probably like burp, 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 like miming his mouth opening and closing. In this one they just didn't even bother doing that. They're just like
they're just bobbing their heads back and forth.
Yeah, they have like what is it, like the Rottweiler or the Doberman singing Swing Low Sweet Chariot. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was
my
broken laugh was
I can't believe they did that. They went there. That whole sequence was ridiculous too, which is also that's a new thing in this movie, a new lore, because in the first one he doesn't like talk to dogs or anything. He just like talks as a person, as a dog. In this one he's like slowly is like understanding all the dogs.
Well, that's another thing that doesn't make sense, is that how is he both A, talking as a human where other humans understand him, but B, also able to commune with like other dogs? It doesn't really make sense to me.
I don't know, make it make sense.
What's the lore, Sam?
Yeah.
Who directed this? I'm going to send him an email.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I'm pretty sure like 80%, 90% of this cast is dead.
Do you think the main dog is dead?
Oh God, probably.
People claim the lost dog's still alive. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. This dog from 1976.
This dog's
Robert Stevenson. Make it make sense. You got emails coming your way, buddy. So I think for me, there was the whole getaway sequence was so ridiculous, and there's like 2 of them, right? There's the one where he's escapes with the dogs.
There's a lot of car chases in this movie, more than I would have expected into going into a movie called The Shaggy D.A.
And he like when he has like the Tim tossing out the buckets of ice cream that are causing the police cars to like skid out because they're driving over ice cream is so dumb. And then like it goes more into the. I feel like really the weakest point is probably the climax, like when they're like in the, like, it's like, okay, so the premise, the idea of like that there are people robbing all these people's houses and everything, and the DA is like in on it, and they just have a giant warehouse filled with all these people's stuff, like including like the blanket that they steal off them, because like
it looked like the warehouse at the end of the first Raiders of the Lost Ark movie.
It's just filled with a bunch of useless shit from people's houses, which is so ridiculous. But there's like I don't know, it's so ridiculous. I'm like that's what this like the crime spree. That's the crime ring. These mafiosos.
It kind of felt like a Watergate movie towards the end because they have like the recorder and everything.
Yeah. It's like exactly that's where it goes into like that kind of crime like sleuth thing where it's like suddenly it's a thriller where they're like trying to uncover the corruption. It's a small town.
Who the fuck wrote this? Like, what is? It is such a bizarre sequence of events that happen. I almost wonder if this was like a more serious script that they're like making a Shaggy dog. Like I just imagine some writer in the 70s like worked really hard on like a Watergate-esque like fucking movie about like a guy who's gonna uncover the DA's dirty laundry, and then like Disney's like add a dog.
Make it a dog. Make the guy a dog, and we're good.
Well, it turned me into a dog.
It's like even the sequence when he's like he goes to like he's like campaigning and everything, and they're like, oh, kissing babies.
That scene is so weird, dude.
It's so off-putting. He's like just kiss babies. That's a good photo op thing or whatever. And then there's like a baby comes out and he looks at it and he's like, damn. It's like he's covered in like pie. And he's just like goes in to kiss it anyway. It's like, why would you do that?
It's such a weird, like the way. It's an odd scene.
It's uncomfortable at best, where he just leans in and the kid just like grabs his fucking neck, and then
Speaking of awkward moments, also towards the end, there's that sequence where the ice cream man and the kid are running away, and they're both trying to find shelter, and it's just like a 30-second long shot, which is a long time. 30 seconds doesn't sound long until you're like looking at the editing room. It's like 30 seconds of them shuffling around trying to hide. It's so bizarre and like weird. It's like, what the fuck is this cut?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know exactly which one you're talking about. They're like hiding. He's like trying to like hide under a blanket, and then he's like, he just doesn't know what to do. It felt like they were going for like it's like a higher. There's a bit there that could last for like maybe 5-10 seconds.
Yes,
it just
the
keeps
bit
going.
is the end where he puts like the lamp thing over his head and like goes into a rug, but it takes 30 seconds to accomplish it. And I'm like,
it's ridiculous. I don't know. There's also the roller rink scene.
Oh yeah, very bizarre stuff.
He's just like, because they allude early on, so they're foreshadowing the roller rink. The Tim, like his girlfriend or the girl that he likes that also works at the pie place, she also moonlights as a roller rink champion, like a roller derby. This was the 70s, so roller skating was real big. And then like while he's running away from everybody, he goes into the roller derby and then puts on an outfit and roller skates, and then nobody blinks twice at a dog just roller skating through the arena. In fact, they launch him at one point, which was ridiculous. There's a lot of moments like that, which stood out to me where I was like, this is actually more. This is why I'm here. Like, this is why I wanted to watch this movie. There should have been more of that, I think.
We didn't even talk about the intro song.
Oh God, it's like 5 minutes.
I was okay with it. Jason and Kyle were like, "Oh my God, when will it end?" I was like, "I don't want it to. This is great." I'm running as the Shaggy D.A. It's like that very like old school.
It's such like a throwback to like back when movies, they're like, we got to put all the credits at the beginning of the movie. How are we gonna do this? Well, we'll have a whole intro sequence, and then that's another spot of like where Disney still had some of their animation stuff going on. They had to pay all these animators to do something, so they have a whole animated sequence of a dog that's like dressed as a DA and like doing shit, and it goes on for a while. It goes on for a long while. I think.
I liked it. It sounded like The Devil Goes Down to Georgia, like that kind of like.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, it kind of does.
I'm gonna be the Shaggy DA, the best there's ever been. Also, this movie is it's inappropriately titled. It should be The Shaggy Candidate for District Attorney.
Yeah, I don't think he becomes DA till the very end.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be he was a DA from the beginning.
That's what I was assuming.
He's like, oh no, I got to stop crime, and I'm a dog. But no. Okay.
He's that dog on the neighborhood watch posters. Like,
exactly.
What's the dog with the what animation am I thinking of? It's like a dog with like the
McGruff.
McGruff, thank you.
McGruff the crime dog.
He could be man. McGruff the crime dog.
Exactly. Yeah, they should have leaned more into that. Just have him turn into a hound. But no, they're like shit. We have Shaggy D.A. on our list of like properties that we own. We gotta stick with Shaggy Dog.
This movie should have leaned more into the politics of it all.
Just been like a real like crime thriller, like like the Chinatown version with the dog.
Why not?
I mean, they kind of did that later because again, the 70s, rough time for Disney. But by the time they got to the 80s, then they did probably one of the peak films they ever did, which is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is essentially that premise, which is so ridiculous that they were like, you know what, let's do Chinatown, but with like cartoons and Looney Tunes and shit. And it's like, I feel like
that one pays off.
Absolutely. I feel like that's where it's weird, but like I feel like they kind of like start getting the seeds for that with movies like this in the 70s when they were like still trying to figure out the level of like how goofy can we get and how serious can we make it, where we like find that balance.
Miles chiming in again on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So there was actually controversy on that movie because they were mixing properties with Warner Brothers. Yeah, at the time. And there was a big competition between having Mickey Mouse on screen and I forget Bugs Bunny. And they had to have equal screen time on Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And also, I don't think that was really a Disney movie. Wasn't that a kind of a joint venture between both of them?
As far as I know, it was definitely distributed by Disney, and I think they own it. but it definitely did have like I think the only reason why they were even able to like make that movie was because of Steven Spielberg had like enough pull, especially in the 80s when he was like, he reached out to Warner Bros. And he was like, hey, lend me Daffy Duck or whatever, you know, because they had the same thing with Daffy, where Daffy and Donald are they share the scene where they have to have the same amount of screen time. It's ridiculous, but it's great.
Yeah. Sorry. Done interjecting, hopefully.
Wow. Don't even do the homework and still want to shine.
Well, okay, so I don't even know where else to really go with this.
Yeah, this is a hard
honest.
one. What do you think it influenced aside from Roger Rabbit?
I don't know. I think there's like, again, because the 70s they were so into like family comedies and stuff. And if you look at just movies that
When was
were
Operation
out in the
Dumbo
70s,
Drop?
Dumbo Drop. I don't know.
Is that a Disney movie? I think it is.
I don't.
I figured you would know. You're supposed to be the expert.
Oh my god.
What year did it come? Oh, that's like the 90s, actually. That's a little bit further. You never seen Operation Dumbo Drop?
That was 1995.
Is that Disney?
It is Disney, yes.
You never seen that?
No, I've never seen
I mean,
it.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
It's got Ray Liotta, Danny Glover, Dennis Leary. Interesting. Well, I think it's like, again, it's like it was the opposite reaction to the 70s being such like a, like movies had become so much darker and heavier. We had like, you know, Taxi and, you know, everything Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese were like doing at the time. They were like, and many others, of course, Brian De Palma. And
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi is the Queen Latifah movie.
That's, okay, sorry. The superior movie.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. The Taxi?
Yeah.
Yes.
So have I. You haven't seen Taxi Driver,
I
huh?
have not, no.
I like how you've seen Taxi, but not Taxi Driver.
You know, there's one movie that's going to be a timeless classic that will be studied by film in all time, and then there's Taxi Driver, you know. I chose the right one, I think. But I feel like this was like, it's like, you know, this is a response to that, right? Because that was the problem, is people, a lot of, like, even now, it's like family films do so well. Like, you can almost make any kind of family film, almost, and it'll probably do well enough if there's nothing else around.
Except
because
for Mars Needs Moms for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, because it just, people want to take their kids and families to go watch a movie, and then they can't take them to see fucking Taxi Driver. So, like, you know, most of the time, like, you know, it's like there's a response to that. So I feel like, yeah, these are the movies that were like, look, you just want to watch a goofy fucking movie, then like, here you go, like, here's a classic. And I think it's also because it was 20 years after the original, so they were still probably trying to capture some of that like nostalgia that people had back then, because it is what it is. At this time, they were also like, they had made Herbie, which was also starring the Dean Jones back in like the 60s, I want to say. And by this point, they had made like 4 or 5 like Herbie movies, which is ridiculous. But again, so the Disney formula, it's been around for a long time. You can always see it when they're in a low point, and this was their low point for sure. At least maybe until recently, depends who you ask. But it's like it's interesting. I don't know. Do you see any other influences here, Blake?
No.
Okay.
Can I get to my other big criticism?
Yes, go ahead.
This movie felt like it was so long, and it's only 90 minutes.
It really does feel like it drags at points where I was just like, damn, dude, how much is left of this movie?
I remember, so we ordered a pizza before this movie started, and where were we? I think maybe we were at the first car chase, and like the pizza came, so I paused it, and we were like, holy fuck, there's like 40 minutes left of this. Like, how is there 40 more minutes to go?
I think it's like the first, like, it takes a second to get into it, kind of sets the stage. And then the second act is probably its strongest point. That's where you get the chase scenes. That's where you get when everything gets captured and everything. And then that final act just kind of drags, once they're like infiltrating the warehouse and everything.
It does take them a long time to just break into the window.
Yeah.
That's like a really long sequence for some reason.
Yeah.
Because first we have to see the Shaggy D.A. do it. Then we have to see the bumbling ice cream man do it.
Uh-huh.
And then we have to see the son do it. And it's like, oh my God, I get it. They're walking over a line. Let's get moving.
I feel like you get the vibe that they were really
stretching out the time.
Absolutely. They're like, it has to at least be 90 minutes to be like a movie. So they're like, let's, what else can we get here? There's a lot of that.
Lots of people shooting at dogs in this movie.
There really
What is this? The Leftovers,
dude. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that. That's the sailor neighbor guy who just pulls out a fucking double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, how come his house is like all nautical?
I have no idea. That's not even a thing in the first movie. I thought it was, but no, it's not. It's just he's just a nautical guy.
He's just into boats. I don't know.
He just talks like a captain. He wears his little captain hat all over the place.
Have you ever shot a dog for walking on your flowers?
No,
I haven't.
It's like what is psycho? Like what kind of person? Like how would you explain that if someone came out and they're like,
Shaggy D.A, start prosecuting with this guy?
I know, like, did you shoot my fucking dog? It's like he walked through my flowers. What else was I gonna do? Like it's so wild. But it's like if you notice too, everyone else's house on that block gets like broken into and like completely robbed. Like they strip everything. They literally steal the clothes that they were wearing earlier in the day. Yeah. Like they steal the blanket that they're sleeping on, and it's like, and that dude's house, the nautical house, untouched. Suspicious. Maybe there's more going on there than we know.
Those guys just thought they couldn't sell some corny ass boat stuff.
They're like, even his safe, it's just like what is it, like a boat steering wheel thing, and it's just that you just open it. It's not much of a safe. I don't know. It feels like
it's kind of hidden. I don't know if you'd know to go there.
I guess. I don't know. But again, they cleared out the entire dude's house. So maybe they would. Why not go for this guy? Probably because he's packing, huh? He's got like
shot them.
He had a shotgun.
See what he does to dogs. You don't want to know what he does to humans.
Okay, I feel like we can wrap this up. I don't know. There's not much else to go on.
One last comment, and I forgot to bring it up.
Yeah.
The jailhouse sequence legitimately felt like a David Lynch movie or something. Like it was so bizarre and surreal, and I was like, what is happening?
I feel like they should have gotten more into that shit where it's like them talking to dogs. Just make it more of just a dog movie where they're just
the dogs come and save the day at the end.
Yeah, the dogs were like the funniest part. Just even their accents where it's like, oh, Shane. He's like, why do they have like these old timey accents where he's like, Curly's not in for this. Looks like it's just us boys.
You know, Marvel ripped that off again because that's basically a scene from Guardians 3, right?
I guess. Yeah, except they don't all, spoilers.
Die.
They don't all die.
Rocket Raccoon doesn't go, I hurt.
Oh my God. Yeah. The guy just like, or even when he just like tells the dog, just starts ordering around the dog catcher guy. He's like, sit. Stay, and then he just leaves. And it's
I was like, does he have powers? What's going on? Like I remember the other dog catcher guy comes in. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, the dog told me to sit. It's like he's not fucking Kilgrave. Like so what? What's the lore, Sam? Like I don't understand. I don't fundamentally understand anything about how his dog powers work.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. We don't understand how all of this really comes together.
They never did a third one.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Well, they did the other one. I think they did actually. There is like a third property, the Shaggy Dog Saga.
How come this never took off? Like, why is this not one of those giant franchises that's still going?
Oh yes, so in 1987 they returned to the return of the Shaggy Dog.
Oh my God!
And where he's in a wedding, he's getting married now.
The same actor?
No, it can't be.
Is he playing the same character? That's what I want to know. I just want to know at least that.
No, it is the same character, Will Be Daniels, and he's getting married. And just
can you just read the general plot description for me, please? I'm very curious.
Successful lawyer Will Be Daniels once again falls victim to the cursed Borgia ring that turns him into a sheepdog. Wow. That's
really,
yeah, that's it.
Riveting.
Yeah. The poster, look up the poster, please. That's probably one of the best things about this one, the poster where he's just in a little suit with glasses. Those are the gags that I liked. Like there's a part where he's like has to leave and then they put him in the little trench coat and he's like basically saying goodbye to his wife, and then someone knocks at the door, and then the dog, because it's an actual dog that's in the suit, and it just like whips his head around towards the door and the lady at the same time. That shit made me laugh. I was like, that's, I don't know. I feel like they nailed that where he's like riding the bike and he's like smoking a pipe for some reason as a dog.
Oh yeah. I don't know why he's smoking a pipe. I think somebody just thought that'd be funny, and it is.
It is. Okay. So wrapping this up, would I recommend this to anybody? I don't know. I feel like this is a good like inebriated film, maybe. maybe. Like watching, I feel like this works better really. It's just like a highlight reel. Like find all the best clips of this movie, and I feel like you're going to get more out of it really than having to sit through the whole thing, to be honest. But there are moments in here that are funnier than they really should be, but overall not the best, to be honest. There's sillier, dumber movies out there you could watch that are probably more worth your time. What about you, Blake?
I thought it was very bad. I won't ever watch it again.
Oh, wow.
Fuck, I don't know what you want me to say.
No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I can't believe you.
Just, I'll give you props for choosing the Shaggy D.A. It's the most exciting pick we've had in a while. It's very bad. I didn't like watching it, but I'm glad we did, kind of, for some reason.
I'm glad. I was a little nervous because I was like, I just picked something that I thought looked really silly and ridiculous, but I was like, damn, what if it's just like not even fun to watch at all? Like that would really suck. But I don't know. That's the gamble, right? Yeah.
Life's a gamble,
Okay. So I think before we move on, or I guess, well, now that we're moving on, yeah, like we should probably talk about our slightly new scheduling, at least for the upcoming weeks. We've got stuff going on. We've been a little busy.
We missed a week.
We did. We missed a week. So sorry about that.
Lots of people were out there going, no, damn it.
All 30 of you were shaking your fists and pounding sand. But yeah, we're kind of going every other week for the next foreseeable future.
I think it'll only be about 3 weeks. I think we'll probably be back on track pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong in that?
I mean, I think so.
I'd say
like middle of March, end of March, we should be back on schedule.
Yeah, I want to say by the middle of March, we'll probably be back on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
We're very busy.
Yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Until we start getting paid the big bucks for this, which will be about middle of March, right? That's when we project that'll be.
Who knows?
We can all quit our jobs.
Let us know. We'll advertise. We can do ads for dick pills, whatever you want. Let us know.
Yeah, that's when Raycon and Surfshark start sponsoring us.
Yeah, you want that dog in you? Then get these rhino pills.
It's funny. I've been calling Ron a rhino for a decade now. Actually,
yeah.
If you've ever seen him in real life, he does resemble a rhinoceros.
It's not true at all.
Complete with the vestigial horn.
Yeah,
he looks like a rhinoceros. I've been saying it for a decade, and I won't stop
sense.
now.
Well, okay. But yeah, we'll sell those rhino dick pills. Anyway,
should we talk about what we watched this week other than Shaggy D.A?
Yes, yeah, let's do it. So I caught up on Invincible season 3.
Is there a new season of that?
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
Like 4. They dropped like the first 3 episodes.
Oh wow!
And then they released episode 4 last week. I am
no spoilers.
Very into it. I think so far it's projecting to be like my favorite season, just in terms of how things are going. It's good. It's a damn good show. It keeps getting better. It's very well done, I think. Not a spoiler, but like they give Cecil his own episode, and it's one of my favorite episodes of the series so far. So I was very happy with that.
Cecil's Walton Goggins, right?
Yes, yeah. It's good stuff. I don't know. It's all around fantastic show.
Yeah. I didn't even realize season 3. I thought that was like a year away for some reason. Cool.
Yeah,
I have something to watch.
Yeah, I still have the same thing where it's like, I understand animation is tough. There's a lot that goes into it, and you can't, and it's like there's a schedule. It's rough, but I just wish it had a little bit better animation. I was hoping that by season 3 they would have like really cranked up more, but it kind of feels like it's kind of plateaued in terms of how good it is, and it's fine. I get it. It's but it's like, I feel like
yell at those underpaid workers. Right?
I will say that it's, in that regard, it's usually better than anime, because like anime, the way that they're funded, if you look into it, it's crazy. And so after the first season, it just goes downhill fast, because they're like, oh yeah, you've got the same budget or less of a budget to produce another season of this so that we can sell more merchandise.
I think it's tough because it's like, I've watching shows like Jujutsu Kaisen, which infamously went through its whole chaotic last season in terms of like production wise. Like I'm not saying I want them to go through that kind of stuff, like those animators go through hell to make those insane animations. Like it's ridiculous what they do at Mappa and everything is insane. But like, it's also a bit spoiling as a viewer, just purely as a viewer. It's like, you see what's capable, like, what's capable and what's out there, what's happening right now. And it's just like, damn, man, like I wish we could get at least a little bit closer to that with, also keeping people's rights and minds, and I want animators to go home to their families too. But like, also it'd be cool. I'd be willing. What I'm saying is I'd be willing to wait a little bit longer if we got some better animation. That's But yeah, anyway, what are you watching, Blake?
I watched the original Stepford Wives for the first time.
Oh.
It made me think of you two because I remember you guys watched. Was it just you, Ron, or was it you and Miles?
I watched it. Me and Rosie did.
You and Rosie. It made me go, damn, why the fuck did you watch the remake and not the original? Because the original is great. Because I remember you weren't totally sold on the one. You were kind of like, eh. I thought the Stepford Wives, the original, was fantastic. It was very good. I don't even want to talk about it too much by the off chance that people don't really know what it's about, because I already kind of knew what the deal was going in. I feel like it's hard to if you're into movies.
Yeah, it's out there at this point. Like most people have,
and it's a very
conception of what Stepford Wives
influential movie in a lot of ways. I feel like a lot of modern movies have been inspired by it. I don't even want to say which ones. Like I said, in the off chance someone wants to watch it and hasn't heard about it. It was very good. It did have some, but from a movie previous to it did have some Rosemary's Baby vibes in it for sure.
Yeah, go watch the original then, just not the new one.
I kind of you're making me want to watch the remake now.
It's the thing is, I feel like I would have wanted to watch the remake regardless, but like it's directed by Frank Oz, which is also bananas.
Yoda.
Yes, yeah. It was like apparently that one had like a whole production hell. Like they reshot stuff and they Frank Oz had like a lot of trouble with like other actors. Like apparently like Frank Oz is known for being a decent dude as far as I know. And it's like apparently it was just like no, it was like worst case scenario for a lot of things in making that movie, and it turned out pretty bad. So it's
who's the lead actress? Is it Nicole Kidman or am I
yes,
tripping?
Nicole Kidman, yeah. And, it's like it's Matthew Broderick too. And Christopher Walken and Bette Midler and other people that I can't remember, but it's
highly recommend the original. Very good. I forgot the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, definitely a lot of, if you liked Rosemary's Baby, you'll like this movie. There's a lot of Rosemary's Baby vibes in it.
What?
I don't know.
I also watched Flow. Which was like, it's like the big animation movie that's like, it's been nominated for the Oscars. I think it stole the Golden Globe because a lot of people figured it would go to Inside Out 2 or Wild Robot, which are like the DreamWorks, Pixar movies and stuff. But instead Flow got it, which was like, I totally recommend watching it. It's pretty great. It's a animated film about, it's the most basic premise is there's a cat and a small group of animals, a capybara, a heron, a dog, and a lemur, that are basically just trying to survive in this world that's slowly becoming more and more like, there's like basically the water is rising. It's like flooding this world, and that's all you really need to know. Like actually, even that's too much. Probably erase that from your mind. But it's there's no dialogue. It's just simply these animals, and they act mostly like real animals, and it's just like it's a beautiful animated film. It's very sweet and I don't know, abstract at times, but it's there's not much to go on it.
It's like Robot Dreams, but good.
Yeah,
shut up about that. Robot Dreams is good.
I'm just kidding.
I was getting a little bit offended.
I literally said that to trigger you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I've never even seen Robot Dreams.
But
it's on the C also for Flow. Like when I looked it up. Yeah,
it's great. It's like I can totally see why it's like, because I watched Wild Robot and I loved it. I was like, that's probably my favorite animated movie of last year, and Flow is now firmly there as well. Like it kind of interchanges, and the animation style is like, it was done with like a free software network. It's like from this like Latvian filmmaker and everything with like a French distribution company. So it was like super low budget, and I'm like, damn, what they were able to accomplish with that is insane, like extremely impressive. So I don't know, that movie's already getting tons of attention, but I saw it and it's great. I totally get it. So yeah, watch it.
Dexter Original Sin just ended.
Oh,
thank God.
You know,
spoilers.
You want me to? Do you want me to spoil it?
I don't care. I don't know.
Okay.
If you're listening and you care about it.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Just skip over it. I'm going to spoil the finale of Original Sin.
Okay.
So here's the deal with Dexter Original Sin. It's not awful. Like I think it's highly watchable. If I had to give it a comparative rating, it's like the seasons 6 through like 7 of like Dexter. Like it's
not high praise. No.
No, but it's watchable, and
Yeah.
you can watch it. I will say the best thing I have to say about it is that Patrick Gibson is very good as Dexter. I really like his performance, and I like that he does in some ways try to emulate Michael C. Hall, but not all the time. He kind of does give it his own take. He's a little more, he plays the character more, he leans more into the goofy and nerdy side of Dexter, I think, which I like. I kind of like his take on it. And then I think when he is scary Dexter, that kind of like gives it a starker contrast when he goes from like, oh, to like, I'm going to kill you. Like it's, so I really like Patrick Gibson. So here's the plot to the finale. And it could have been very good, but I like it in theory. I just don't like the execution. The opening scene, the opening like 10 to 15 minutes of the finale it's that scene we've seen over and over and over again. They showed at least once a season, and now they've reshot it, of the infamous scene where Harry walks into the shipping container and picks up Dexter and walks him out and everything.
Spoilers.
It's that same scene, except for this time it's from the perspective of the ice truck killer. So we see like Dexter being like taken out. And then we see the ice truck killer going through multiple like foster homes and being like abused. And we see him like grow up and kind of like learn to like fake being normal. And then it ends with him like basically murdering his therapist. I think that's a really cool, like in theory, that's a cool idea.
That's really the first thing that you've said about this show that actually really piques my interest.
But it was done very poorly.
Oh God.
But I think most of it fails with the exception of like the last big scene. I like what they're going for with Harry. Like this is, in a lot of ways, this finale is more about Harry than it is about Dexter, which I think is the move, by the way. And it's just kind of like him being like, oh man, this is all like my fault, huh? And there's you care about like me spoiling the only good thing. The one good thing is in the finale, Harry has a standoff with the ice truck killer and he gets like kind of fucked up from it, but he's fine. And he goes home and he's really like, he's had a bad day. Like his best friend has been outed as like a serial killer. The ice truck killer tried to kill him. And Dexter is like comforting him, right? Dexter's like trying to be like, I don't know, there for his dad. And then
it's okay. I'm going to kill a lot of people.
And then he says to him, cause Harry knows that Dexter killed his best friend basically. And Dexter's trying to comfort him. And he says like, Dad, like, I just want you to know, like, he wasn't the person you thought you knew. He did exist. He just changed. Like bad things happen to people and it turns them into monsters. Not like me though. I was born this way, like, right? And then Harry looks at him and you see him like thinking about it all and he goes, yes, son, I'm sorry. You were just born this way.
Damn.
Kind of like, so, and I was like, ooh,
that's good.
I like that. So I don't know. That scene was good. The rest of it was pretty bad. I very much enjoyed watching Dexter Original Sin. The first episode's very bad, so you have to get through that. But it's also like, at Rush, it starts with Dexter like in college and like ends with him in like as a forensics tech. So like, it kind of speeds through a lot of shit. Like it literally, it doesn't even start with him in college. It starts with him being born. You see him be born and like, and like literally a drop of blood falls on him. He's like, in the beginning, there was blood.
Sorry, that's okay. Yes, sorry.
Honestly, I mean, it's not great, but I liked it. People seem to like it. The Dexter community is raving about it.
Is that true?
Yes.
Dexter community, let us know.
It is true. They really like it. I don't understand it. I think it's kind of bad, but also I get it. It's fun, and it really does just feel like another season of like original Dexter with new people. And like I said, if you're listening to this, Patrick Gibson, you're doing great. Patrick Gibson is absolutely killing it. I think he's a great He's a great cast for young Dexter.
I know for sure he's listening to an episode about the Shaggy D.A.
You never know. You never know. But yeah, that's Dexter Original Sin. Check it out. Maybe I think you would probably enjoy it on at least some level, Ron.
I'm sure I do. I always try to find something enjoyable in whatever I'm watching, even when it's bad or boring. I still try to I'm like, look, I don't, there's always something there. Usually that's the mark of any, I think even decent film or even bad films, right? There's always people put effort in to make this thing happen. So you got to there's something, there's someone had a dream or an idea and then it turned into this, even if it turns into crap, it's still something. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, Jason's pick, unless anybody else.
Oh
has
yeah,
anything.
no. What's Jason want to watch?
Jason wanted to watch a Noah Baumbach film. I'm just kidding.
Oh, what?
Because he notoriously hated that movie so much.
I know, but I thought you said you would like the other ones. But, okay, whatever.
Okay. Jason wants to talk about David Fincher's Panic Room.
Oh,
which
dude!
I have never seen, so I'm very excited.
Yes. I'm so excited. I literally wrote that down as one that I was thinking about. I'm so yes.
I'm excited. I think aside from Mank, that's an Alien 3. That doesn't really count though. I think those are the only two Fincher movies I've never seen, so I'm pretty stoked.
Panic Room. We can talk about it, next time. But I think that might have been the first Fincher movie I watched. I've owned that one on DVD, and it's underrated. So cool. I'm glad to talk about it. Nice.
I'm excited too. I've never seen it.
Yeah, nor have I. So we're gonna have some people who have seen it, some people who haven't.
Forrest Whitaker and a young Jared Leto.
See, I didn't even know I didn't even know those were the people that were in it.
Kirsten Stewart and Jodie Foster.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Lee Curtis.
Anyway.
I guess that's all, folks.
Yay.
Thank you for clicking on a video about the Shaggy D.A. if you're a new listener.
Yeah. Please subscribe, comment. Let us know. Have you seen this movie? Do you have other goofy Disney movies that you would like us to review? The 70s was a wild time for these guys. They had a movie called Gus about a kicking mule, which is insane.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about Operation Dumbo Drop one of these days.
Yeah, maybe. I've never seen it, so apparently Blake has. So
yeah, I own the VHS.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.